project only. Just don't worry about it. We are going to just cover the basic parts. Okay. We are not going to get into more details. Okay. Like we are not going to get more deep into the like the structural design and the analysis and all. Okay. Once we get to the second project, whatever the doubts you have, those will be cleared. Those will be cleared in the second project only. Okay. For this one, we are just going to just taking the overview. I will say just doing the overview for the structural design in the ETABS.
Okay. And while designing, I will need to know all the specific references to the codes.
Right. Absolutely.
So I can check them myself, and
right.
If there is any theory involved, then I will study books and I will go to those topics and I will just revisit them.
Sure.
So I will be pretty interested in those things as well.
Yeah. Sure. Okay. So the first thing, you have the ETABS, right? And the AutoCAD.
Yes, I have in my system.
Okay. And the codes also?
Yes, I have all the code books.
Okay, so what you do is, first of all, I have the codes also, but those are like old codes. So what you do is, you can you just mail me those codes, like whatever the codes you are having right now?
Yes, sure, I will.
Okay, fine.
You need them now or later? I can do it.
Whenever you get time, you can just send it out. Okay, there's no issue.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I will send them to you tomorrow.
Sure, fine. So this is going to be the first project, which is the G+2 commercial building, right? So for this one, basically, as you can see, we are having the structural plan here. Okay, in the structural plan, basically what we have to show is we have to show the column position, column sizes, and the column orientation. Also, we have to say also we have to mention the beam sizes, numberings, and all. Okay, same goes for the slabs also. In the case of slab, we have to provide the slab labeling and the thickness of the slab, and we have to also mention whether the slab is a one-way or a two-way. If it is the one-way slab, then we have to show like in which direction it is spanning, whether it's spanning in the X direction or Y direction. That we have to show. Okay, so if you don't know about the how to prepare the structural plan, okay, that also we'll study in the second project only. Okay, like we'll start from the scratch only. Okay, we'll prepare the structural plan using the architecture plan. As of now, I told you earlier only on the first project, we'll just start to work on the ETABS. Okay, so I have already prepared the structural plan, and we have taken the one size of the columns only, like 230 by 500 mm. Okay, this you can see C1, this is the column level, and this is the size 230 by 500. And here this is the C2, 230 by 500 mm, and this is the HB1, which is the horizontal beam number 1, and the size for that one is 200 by 500. Okay, and vertical beams are shown like VB1, and these are the sizes.
Okay.
And for the slabs, this is the S1 slab, and this is the S2 slab. Okay, here the labeling we have to change. Okay, this is the S2 slab, and this symbol will show you that this is the two-way slab. Okay, and this 150 is nothing but the thickness of slab, which is 150 mm. Okay, and this is the staircase slab. Then after, this is the floor slab, you can say. These are the floor slabs, right? And here certain grids marks are here. Okay, like we can see Y1, Y2, Y3, and Y4. These are the grids in the Y direction. Okay, and these are the grids like in the X direction, X1, X2, and X3. And these are the spacing between the grids. Okay, so this grid spacing I have mentioned just to model the model in the ETABS. Like in the ETABS, basically we can do the modeling using two methods, right? The first method is a grid system method, and the next method is a center line plan method. Okay, so we are going to go through all these two methods. Okay, first of all, we'll go with the this grid system method. Okay, so for that reason only, I have marked the grid systems here. Like you can see Y1, Y2, Y3, and Y4, and the spacing between every particular grid. Okay, so here, if you don't know about the calculation of the column size, we are going to make some calculation for that one also in the second project. For the beam also, we'll see how to calculate the sizes. Okay, same goes for the slabs also.
Okay, all right. Yes,
So
that was
now
my
for the
first
first
question.
project only, we are just going to consider certain data so that we can just do the modeling in the ETABS.
Okay, fine.
Right. So this is the structural plan, and using the structural plan only, we are going to model a structure in the ETABS using this grid system. Okay, so I'll just open the ETABS and make sure you have the latest version of the ETABS, which is version 20. Okay, so once we open the ETABS here, in the start page, we have two options, like whether we want to create a new model or we want to open the existing model that we have already created. Okay, for now, we'll begin with the new model only. So I'll just click on this new model option. Okay, so here in the model initialization window, we are having the three options here for the initializations, right? So here, use saved user default settings. Okay, like if you have saved a default setting, you can use those for the structural modeling. Or in the second option, basically, you can select any particular model and you can take the setting from that particular model. Okay, and if you want to use a built-in setting, then you have to use a third option. Okay, let's say the display unit I will select is a US customer. Okay, in the UAE also we basically use this US customer only, right? So we have to select that. Then after, reason for the default materials we have to select. Okay, you can select any particular, or you can go with the this one user also. Okay, or you can go with the Europe also. Okay, so for now we'll take United States only. Then after, we have to select a steel section database. Okay, so here we'll select this one AISC 15. Okay, then after steel design code, we'll select this one AISC 360 16. Then after a concrete design code ACI 31819. Okay, these are the codes we are going to use for the structural materials. Okay, for the steel we are going to use particular codes. For the concrete we are going to use this particular code. Okay, and you can just click on OK. Then after, you will get this new model quick template window. Now here we have the two options, whether you want to do the structural modeling using the centerline plan or the grid system, that you can select particularly. Okay, but for now I'll just click on OK. Okay, and here you'll get the three windows. The first one is the model explorer window, and the second window, just let it load. So here the second window is a plan view window, and the third window is, you can see, is the 3D view window. Okay, once we do for the modeling of the any particular structure, we have to use a plan view window only. Okay, so for now I will close this model explorer window and the 3D view window. Okay, once the modeling is completely done, then only you can use the second window, which is the 3D view window. For now, we'll use this one only, plan view window. Now, we are going to do the modeling using the grid system. So for that, we have to go for the edit section and then edit stories and grid system. Okay, and here, as of now, there is a default one grid system is there, G1. Just modify it and you can provide the grid spacing according to your preferences, right? So here, grid name is there, you can see. G1. Okay, if you have the different floor plan for every particular like for any particular building, then you can define a multiple grids also according to the floor plan of the building. Okay, we'll discuss about that later also. For now, here we have to define this X grid data, okay, and the Y grid data, like the spacing between the grids in the X direction and spacing between the grids in the Y direction only, right? So here, so according to the structural plan only, we are going to provide the grid data. So again, we'll go for the edit section, edit stories and grid system. I'll just modify the story data. Sorry, this grid system. Okay, so this X1, X2, X3, these are, you can see these are the grids in the X direction, right? So here, these grids only you have to mention in the X grid data. Let's say the first grid is the X1. Okay, and for the first grid only, you have to take the X ordinate as a 0. Okay, for the first grid, you have to take ordinates as a 0 only. Whether it's a X, whether it's in X direction or Y direction, you have to always take a grid ordinate as a 0 for the first grid. Then after X2 grid is there. Okay, and the distance between the X1 and X2 grid you have to provide. Okay, like the distance of a X2 grid from X1 grid you have to provide, and that distance is 4100 mm. Okay, but here by default feet is there. Okay, we are not going to use the feet. Let me just change the configurations here.
Excuse me.
Yeah,
I will just mute my mic, and if there is anything to ask, then I will interrupt you. And
yeah,
then you, and for the rest, you can continue. I'm listening.
yeah, sure. You can
Okay.
ask me doubt when I was just talking. Okay, there is no issue.
Yes. Okay. All right. Yeah.
Okay. So here, like as of now, you can see the distance are like in the feet. Okay, but we want to take in the meters only. Okay, so again, I have to close this model and I have to open a new model here. So I'll open the ETABS again. Okay, so basically display unit, just to set it in the terms of meters and all, we have to use this metric SI. Okay, if you want to just do the structural modeling using the display units as a meter, okay, like a meter and all, then you have to use a metric SI. If you want to do the structural modeling using the feet and the inches, then you have to select US customer. Okay, so for now we are going to do like the structural modeling using the units as the meter and all. So we have to select this metric SI. Then okay. Okay, and from this window also you can just provide the grades data. Okay, so here we are having a two option here. Okay, like the first option we have to use when there is a uniform grid spacing in both X and Y direction. Okay, this first option, uniform grid spacing, this one you can use. And if you are having a non-uniform grid spacing for both X and Y direction, then you have to go for this custom grid spacing. Okay, then after you have to use this option, specify data for the grid lines. You can just click on edit grid data. Okay, and here let's say this G1 grid system is there. Then after grid ID in the X direction, I will take it as a G1. Sorry, X1. Okay, now in the X direction, basically the first grid, as I told you, we have to take ordinate as a 0 only.